And in the chilly waters of San Francisco Bay, some hardy swimmers weren't content with taking a quick dip. They renewed what may be the ultimate test of one's endurance. CNN's Don Knapp reports.
The water between San Francisco and Alcatraz was a life-and-death challenge for prisoners desperate enough to try to escape. But for these hardy folks, the swim from Alcatraz is just a romp in the bay.
You do need to get a little bulk, a little body fat to do this. The skinny pool wimps are generally not here today.
There are many perils in the cold bay waters.
The seal came up underneath me, he bit me once here, and I put my knees up underneath my chin. He bit me in the heel.
Only the 50 best qualifiers from San Francisco's South End and Dolphin swim clubs get the chance.
It's one of those things that I think it's an ego thing. I personally don't like Alcatraz.
But you also think about the new year and you think about what it is to make an achievement like that at the first day of the year and how it sets up your year.
Well, it's my first January 1st Alcatraz swim, so I'm thinking I just want to survive it.
The Alcatraz swim is difficult not only because it's a mile-long swim, but there are also tidal currents, and the water is cold, about 50 degrees.
And we are crazy, that's why we're here.
The first swimmer through the breakwater and ashore, Suzanne Hine, a regular Alcatraz swim winner.
It was nice and flat, and the motivation is to get to the sun and go get warm. Oh, it was really nice.
What were you thinking about just before you hit the shore?
Trying to be in the top 10.
Did you make it?
I made it.
But most were just thinking about getting out of the cold water.
Went very well, a little cold, but Happy New Year's, everybody.
Don Knapp, CNN, San Francisco.
Moved by the music, worshipers here elevate one jazz musician to sainthood.
John Coltrane has touched the hearts and the minds of people of all faiths.
The faithful here call the late jazz musician Saint John Coltrane. Icons of Coltrane, complete with halo and sax in hand, adorn St. John's African Orthodox Church in San Francisco. Some might see Coltrane, a former alcoholic and heroin addict, as an unlikely candidate for sainthood. But that life changed in 1957.
John Coltrane said that I had a spiritual awakening.
An ardent fan of Coltrane's, Bishop Franzo King was spiritually moved by the musician's transformation, founding the church in 1971. Members don't worship Coltrane himself. It's the music that touches a higher chord.
We really believe that the presence of God is in John Coltrane's music, and that's what we're identifying with in terms of worship and praise.
Freewheeling and spirited, King's service sounds like a jam session, albeit one with heavenly overtones.
It's a holy thing as well as just a music you can enjoy.
He intertwines the spiritual beliefs of the Almighty with John Coltrane and let them know that they were all as one.
Prayers, music, and sermons, all in all, church here is a 4-hour ritual.
It takes the name of the Word of God and puts it on a whole different level.
Bishop King says it was Coltrane's desire to uplift people and let them know the meaning of life. For members here, that message comes through his music, loud and clear. Rusty Dornan for CNN, San Francisco.
They gambled on a long shot to win a new life in America and lost. What was probably a costly investment in an illegal smuggling scheme landed about 200 Chinese immigrants just inside San Francisco's Golden Gate.
They hit the dock, they started heading up into the wooded area. Somebody must have given them some directions what way to go. Here's going to be some cars at a pickup point.
A few hours in the New World on the run was all the freedom most were able to get.
After they realized that they couldn't get away, they would start turning themselves in groups of 15 to 20 coming out of the woods.
Authorities used historic Fort Point just below the Golden Gate Bridge as a holding area to process the illegal immigrants. A few managed to get away.
Typically, from what we've learned in the past, they go into the restaurant industry. It's not uncommon for the females to be forced into prostitution.
Immigrants pay smugglers $20,000 to $30,000 to get into the United States illegally. A Coast Guard helicopter and a cutter caught up with a suspected smuggler ship, the Pai Chang, in international waters and turned it around for a U.S. port. Apparently, the freighter had spent 2 to 4 weeks off the Northern California coast, waiting for the best time to make shore. It was a risky plan, even in darkness. The freighter moved into shallow water at high tide, tied up to a public fishing pier, and waited there for about 15 minutes while its human cargo scrambled for waiting cars and trucks. The Coast Guard seized still another ship in December off San Francisco. 171 Chinese spent 7 weeks crammed on board in subhuman conditions. U.S. immigration authorities say Asian organized crime controls much of the smuggling that brings as many as 100,000 illegal Chinese immigrants into the U.S. each year.
These are well organized. These are not hit-and-miss operations, and I'm still disturbed when people tell me that the Chinese community in this area knows nothing about it.
U.S. immigration officers say they're overwhelmed with the job of trying to stem the human smuggling. Don Knapp, CNN, San Francisco.
Yelling in class, the louder the better. When a stranger comes too close, these children learn to say no. No! No! Kid Power, a weekend class in the Bay Area, helps children ages 6 to 13 years old face their parents' greatest fears: child abduction and child abuse.
I am a survivor of abuse as a child, and it's really important to me that my kids never go through that.
No! No! Self-protection skills. The kids learn to strike where it hurts the most.
You just kick him in the privates with your foot, and then there's another one when you just go like that to the chin.
Kids are scared, and parents are scared, and they feel helpless. And what we do is we take that fear and we turn it into skills.
No! No! Organizers say this course empowers kids and gives them a sense of self-confidence. But critics charge the class can do damage by raising fears unnecessarily and giving the kids a false sense of security.
Some of them think they can fly, they have exaggerated sense of what they're able to do, and now you've told them, okay, now you're prepared to defend yourself. It may create a false sense of security in the children and in the parents.
Kid Power's founder says the class teaches children to lead, not to fight, and if it provides the kids with enough confidence not to freeze in a situation, that alone could be enough.
No! Again.
No! Experts say there is no guarantee that any of these skills would prevent an abduction. Even so, Kid Power supporters believe these techniques can make a difference. Linda Joyce for CNN San Francisco.